This is an absolute robbery for the Milwaukee Bucks. A brand new report has dropped revealing some wild information surrounding John Horst and his plans this offseason surrounding one particular player that has fans fired up. We're going to break down exactly who that is and discuss what this means going forward as the Bucks prepare for a huge offseason. But folks, before we get into it all, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Bucks content. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. If you want to help us towards our big goal of 5,000 subscribers, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys again for your continued support over here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a step back today from the Giannis and Antetokounmpo talks. There's obviously we're expecting an update from Shams soon surrounding the meeting that did or didn't happen at this time of recording surrounding Giannis. And big updates are going to be coming in that regard. But I want to talk about a couple targets and one player in particular that reports are starting to circulate surrounding. And it is a very interesting one because, all signs recently have pointed to Giannis Antetokounmpo staying in Milwaukee. And if that's the case, they're going to have to find steals on the market at the league minimum, the veteran minimum, to help fill out this team. And it seems like they're going to get that done, and hopefully they can get that here. But you see this article that dropped. Bucks could target familiar faces with Doc Rivers' connections in free agency. Familiarity is something the Bucks have already explored and always explored. So it's very interesting because Doc Rivers, whether you like him as a coach or not, he does have a lot of connections, and there's times where he hurts the Bucks, both coaching and in the offseason when it comes to targets, but there's also times where he helps the Milwaukee Bucks, and it's seemingly here he has some familiar connections to some old faces. I want to focus in on De'Anthony Melton because he is an extremely under-the-radar player that not many people are talking about here. And he's a former Sixer under Doc Rivers. De'Anthony Melton will be an unrestricted free agent this offseason. He started 58 games in the 2022-2023 season and was a key perimeter defender for Philadelphia, providing a defensive buffer alongside Harden and Maxey. Now, if you're unfamiliar with De'Anthony Melton, he is an extremely, extremely good player. And you look at what this Bucks team needs, and we'll dive into the depth chart here in a minute. The Bucks desperately need somebody like De'Anthony Melton. I was looking to his stats right now. Last season, he only played 6 games. He was a signing by the Warriors. And if you think back to it, if you're following the Warriors at all back then, last season, he was really good in his 6 games, put up 10 points. But looking at his previous years, even dating back to his years with Doc Rivers, 11 points a game, 10 points a game, 10 points a game, 4 straight seasons averaging 10 or more points a game. Now, the biggest problem with him over the past 2 seasons has been injury troubles. And some people think that he's like 30, 32 years old, 35 years old. He is 26 entering his age 27 season. He is an extremely valuable player. Very good defender, very good three-point shooter. And it's very interesting. He's 6'3". He's known for his on-ball defense and floor spacing. He owns a career 37% mark from beyond the arc. And last season, in very limited games, he still averaged 10 points a game, proving that he could do it. And at the time that he went down, many Warriors fans were kind of devastated because he was supposed to be, and he was going to be that role player or even starter. He started 2 games out of the 6 he played going forward, especially with kind of the turnover that the Warriors are having. He is a very under-the-radar player, and it would be a robbery because reports have started to come out that he's looking for the veteran minimum, or at least that's what he would be getting because of his injuries. Injuries have been a concern. He's only played 44 games in the last 2 years. But if healthy, he could patch Milwaukee's perimeter defense and contribute as a spot starter or key reserve. He made roughly $13 million last season and could come cheaper given his recent injury history. Folks, he's not going to get $13 million this offseason. He's probably going to get the league minimum, maybe a little bit more. Probably similar to a Gary Trent Jr. contract. But he is a 3-and-D 2-guard. It's as simple as that. He's a very, very solid defender. You can see in his past few years averaging over 1.5 steals a game. He's known for his on-ball defense, and he's a career 37% three-point shooter, which is above league average. And he just he also has some, penetration, ability, some playmaking ability. He's just a very good guard to have on a team where, if you want to win. And you look at the depth chart they have right now, and Gary Trent Jr. was on the 1-year deal. Who knows if he returns? Of course, this depth chart is based off of, presumptions there. Let's assume Kevin Porter Jr. returns their starting point guard for whatever reason, right? Then you put in De'Anthony Melton as the 3, Kuzma as the 4, Giannis at the 5, and then Giannis at the 4, and then Bobby Portis at the 5, or Brook Lopez if he returns. It's not a horrible team. Now, I don't think they're a championship contender. They still need a bunch of work. But if you're going to go into the assumption that Giannis is returning, you have to make things happen in the buyout market, in the free agency market. And I think De'Anthony Melton is a guy that you have potential to get for very cheap and could be someone who ends up being one of your best, role players, and if not your best role player on the team, just because of the way that things operate. And again, he has a connection with Doc Rivers. So assuming, he'd want to play in Milwaukee, he'd probably have the biggest opportunity in Milwaukee compared to a lot of the teams that, might be interested in his services. But not only that, we saw the Bucks take a similar path with Gary Trent Jr. following his year with the Raptors, a bit of a down year, almost a similar year, although, Melton's because of injury, Gary's was just because of lack of performance. And they got Gary Trent Jr. on the veterans minimum. Now, if you were able to do that for DeAnthony Melton, maybe you can get from Melton what you kind of expected to get from Gary Trent Jr. Didn't necessarily work out for Gary as well as we would have liked. But Melton is a better defender, arguably a better player. But I mean, again, that depends. Gary Trent Jr.'s had some better seasons. But in his prime, especially with Memphis, like he was a bench player. He was a starter at times. He had his best season under Doc Rivers in 2022 in Philadelphia, arguably his best season. He started 58 games. The year before that, he was a sixth man of the year finals. Like he's a very solid contributor and someone that no one's really talking about. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on him. Do you think that this would be a player that would fit well alongside Giannis? Because of course, at this point, we're running with the assumption that Giannis is returning, and if that is the case, you're going to need role players like this. And speaking of role players, another former Sixer and former Doc Rivers player, Matisse Thybulle, who was one of the league's best defenders. But again, he can't really shoot the ball and it's pretty bad offensively. But he has a player option for the upcoming season. If he opts out, he could be an ideal fit for the Bucks with the team that's lacked a point of attack defender since trading away Drew Holiday. This one is a bit less intriguing to me. He's obviously, we know how good he is at defense. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the last decade, but he can't score offensively. So that's why he doesn't get much run. He can't shoot the ball. He can't create. He can't pass. He can't really rebound. He played under Rivers from 2020 to 2023, but struggled to earn consistent playing time due to his offensive limitations. He's just not a very good offensive player. He shares a connection with Lillard from their half season together in Portland and could provide Milwaukee with a versatile, switchable defender, switchable defense on the perimeter. These are the type of players that the Bucks are probably going to have to go for if they want to make a semi-competitive roster if Giannis returns. And I mean, the Bucks don't have future assets to trade. They don't have any prospects. They gave up AJ Johnson in the Kuzma trade. They gave up all their valuable young pieces. You have AJ Green. You have Ryan Rollins. Some guys like that. You have to hope the Taurean Prince and these guys can be very effective contributors. And then you bring in guys like Melton or to the lower scale like Matisse Thybulle and hope that they have breakout years. Because if they bring back Giannis, which is, I mean, depending on what side of the fence you are, is either the right decision or the wrong decision in your beliefs, they need to go out and they need to strike on some diamond in the rough. They need to find a hidden gem that's going to be able to, propel them. Is that going to be DeAnthony Melton? I think there could be a good chance of that. Matisse Thybulle, I think it's a lot less likely. We've seen what he can do offensively. Like he hasn't had years like DeAnthony Melton. He hasn't had that 1 year where he put up 15 points a game. Because if Matisse Thybulle could put up 10, 15 points a game, he's so good at defense he would fit in any team. But there is a reason that teams do not want him on their roster really, or that he's not getting a lot of playing time. It's because of his, shooting. You can see there in the middle paragraph, he shot 36.8% from three across 2.5 seasons, a significant jump from 31.1% he shot in Philly under Rivers. So it's interesting. He's 6'5", all defensive second team in 2020, 2021, the COVID year in the bubble. He was very good then. That was probably his best season of his career. He used to make those vlogs on YouTube from the bubble. So, a likable guy, a likable player, but I prefer DeAnthony Melton, and I think he could be a big asset going forward for this team. But let me know down below your thoughts. I'll keep you updated with all the latest news. You guys are beast. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.